Okay, it is that time of year, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Cowboys Overtime here on StarTelegram.com. I am Fort Worth Star Telegram columnist Mac Engel. Playing hurt, by the way, is Mr. Clarence E. Hill Jr. I want to thank our good friends at Window Nation for sponsoring this and every other episode of Cowboys Overtime, as it is NFL Draft Week. The first round is Thursday night. The three-day event continues on through Saturday with rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 going on Friday, and then ending ultimately on Saturday. Clarence, it's good to see you.
How are you doing, man? You still, being so dramatic, milking this little injury, I mean, you're so sad on Twitter.
Yeah, you're damn right I am.
So
that's
sad.
Twitter. You gotta see me in real. I mean, you gotta see me every other time. I mean, I tell you what, you're the only one who actually called and gave a damn. Everybody knows. Hey, he called like, hey, what's going on with you? Yeah, I tore my bicep back in December, and I finally had surgery on it. And listen to your Uncle Mac. Don't tear your bicep muscle. And if you are do it on your non-dominant hand.
It's time to retire. I used to play softball every year. It was the only sport I really played. And I played till I was like 52. And I said, I am not going to get injured. I have a friend of mine at church who just was planning we had a men's weekend and they did a preachers versus deacons basketball game. He's tore his Achilles. So he's on his damn scooter. And I'm so fearful of having an Achilles or something like that. I said, I'm done with recreational sports.
Didn't you tear your ACL playing softball?
I tore my ACL playing basketball back in my 30s.
In your 30s?
Yeah.
Well, the funny part about it was funny. It was about a week before I had this injury, and I've had other injuries. I've had a concussion. I've dislocated a finger. The concussion wasn't fun. But the funny part about it was before I hurt this, I remember I was watching everybody play, and I'm like, man, I'm playing with fire. I know I'm playing with fire. But I thought it was going to be an Achilles or a hamstring or a knee. This never crossed my mind. I'm like, bicep muscle? No way. I'm like, well, I don't have any bicep muscles. I'm not a muscular.
How do you do that playing basketball? I just don't understand.
I got hit on the forearm. No, I got hit on the forearm and it snapped. And I knew something was wrong.
You got hit on the arm in your bicep?
Right. Yeah. Got hit on the forearm and it snapped. And I didn't have I kept playing for I probably played 5 or 6 more times after that injury because I just thought it was a bruise until finally I realized it was not a bruise. Okay, nobody wants to hear about this.
No.
We'd rather hear about this is great. The Dallas Cowboys yesterday, as mandated by the NFL, every team does it, has to have a pre-NFL draft press availability. And they can't really say a whole lot because they don't want to give anything away, and they really don't know what they're going to do just yet until the draft actually starts. But Cowboys, especially under Jerry Jones, are very press-friendly, and he sat there and met the media and was quite defensive. He said the words all in no less than 700 times. Clarence, that was one of the more entertaining pressers, certainly pre-draft pressers I've ever seen. What did you make of Larry Moe and Curly there yesterday at the Star in Frisco?
I kind of put on Twitter, is Mike McCarthy ever going to get asked a question? Because it was all Jerry and Steve, and he just sitting there, like, why am I here? And no one really cares about asking the head coach a question about the draft. And there actually were a few questions about the draft. Most of it was about what the Cowboys haven't done in the offseason after Jerry Jones declared they were going to be all in. And, there's this discrepancy on all in means. But there's a basic understanding what you mean when you say all in. It's like chips on a poker table.
Right.
I'm all in, okay?
Yep.
I'm all in, okay? It doesn't mean, hey, I'm all in, but I'm not spending any money. I'm not risking anything. I'm all in. I'm putting all my chips to the front of the table. That's what all in means. Now the Cowboys want us to think that all in doesn't mean all in anymore. And we said all in because we're always all in, but we're not going to spend any money. They haven't spent any money.
They're not spending it. Well, hang on. Our producer Kenny might have jumped the gun on that image there. Clarence, my confusion is I'm under the understanding they would spend the money. They don't have any money to spend because it's already it's already accounted for against the salary cap, correct?
Allegedly, yes, it is. And there's things you can do to create cap room,
Yep.
And stuff like that. But the Cowboys, they're smarter than your average bear. Okay.
Oh, no doubt about it.
So they know things that other teams don't know, and so it was just Jerry was he kept saying, "I'm not trying to be defensive," but you're being defensive because the Cowboy fans and the fan base to me are more disillusioned than I've ever seen them regarding what what they've done in the offseason since the loss to the Packers and their prospects for next season. This Cowboys team is decidedly worse than it was at the end of the season.
Of course, we did say the same thing a year ago that when I won 12 games.
Well, no. They did do something, which is funny to me because, they did add
they had a Gilmore.
They had a receiver. They had
a Brandon Cooks. You're right.
They and the funny thing about it, Steven said we won the offseason last year and we still didn't do anything. You didn't win the offseason, okay? You showed a pulse. You did something.
Yeah, you did your job. Yeah,
but you didn't win the
tried to make your roster better.
You didn't go and get any Pro Bowl or Hall of Famers or all pro players. You just got some bodies to improve what you had, but you didn't win the offseason.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. Let's be fair to any team. They made upgrades at receiver. They went out and got Brandon Cooks last year. They went out and got Stephon Gilmore for the outside corner opposite Trayvon Diggs. In my mind, what they did last offseason is what a team should be doing every offseason.
Right, they improved the team. Got some needs. They were like
Let's
a fifth round pick.
And they did.
Right. So they didn't win the offseason. So you just had the narrative of them saying we feel good about our team. We like our guys, which is we like this roster. We like the young. We lost 5 starters, or so in free agency and retirement, whatever else. But the backups, we like those backups.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why they were backups last year.
Right, these guys are amazing. Yeah, these guys are
like
special.
These backups, and they're really going to step up and improve this lot. So it was just an entertaining 53 minutes of hilarity. And as we move on, to me, the biggest, the funniest thing, the most inconsistent thing was he moved on and we're not all in on his team. Hey, but we're all in on Dak Prescott. There's so much questions about Dak Prescott and his future. And he said, Dak is our guy. We want Dak, and that's
But then
Dak.
he said,
we want Dak, and that's that.
That's that. That's done. I know we've talked
drafting a quarterback.
5 different directions about this contract extension and renegotiation.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately you and I both agree that extension will get done at some point. The numbers will be reworked and he will be the starting quarterback for this team for several more years. Having said all that, Jerry comes out and flat out says, yeah, we're not going to be able to give Dak as many weapons, high-end weapons, basically as a result of that contract. Did I read that wrong?
No, you didn't read that wrong. That's the funny thing about it is that how are you going to say that I like this team, we can win with these guys, and then in the next breath say, yeah, Dak is going to have to win with lesser guys. So they're lesser. We have to have a lesser – he's going to have a lesser supporting cast. Okay? So you're admitting that these guys you like, who's going to replace those guys at the left, are lesser than the guys at the left.
But we love the backups.
But you're expected to do the same or more next year in what is Mike McCarthy's last year of his deal, which could be Dak Prescott's last year of his – what is Dak Prescott's last year of his deal? It was – I don't even know what to say. I just know that you – huh?
I'll be honest. Because of this stupid thing, I haven't gone anywhere. This has been much worse than I anticipated. But was it like comical? I've seen some comical ones out there.
It was comical. I mean,
or was it sad?
He got so much of twisted himself trying to cover up things that he said that the reason we have the 24th pick in the draft is because we were the 24th best team. It was a misspoke. He misspoke, but the fact that that just tells me how you're tying yourself up and not trying to justify everything you're doing. And I know the cap, and I know this, and we're waiting for leaves to drop. And I'm going to play option quarterback, and I can go. I mean, it was all over the place.
I'll tell you what's not all over the place. our good friends at Window Nation. We're going to hear from them now, followed by a special guest.
Window Nation, the star of window replacement and proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys, can help you fill the house this season with savings. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and make no interest payments for 60 months, 5 full years. Fill your house for a customized authentic Dallas Cowboys jersey while supplies last. You could even help fill the Cowboys house and win tickets to a game. Visit windownation.com/Cowboys now for details. Call 866-95-NATION. Window Nation, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Thank you very much, Window Nation. Back here on StarTelegram.com for Cowboys Overtime. Not sure why Window Nation wants to be a proud partner of the Cowboys, but that's not my problem. Tell you what, want to welcome in a very special guest to talk a little NFL draft coverage. He is Mr. Steven Johnson, who apparently has ghosts in his, what was going. Steven covers TCU for the Forward Star Telegram, does a great job. He's a native of Memphis, Tennessee. And apparently, do you have goblins or something attacking your camera there, Steven?
No, man. Sometimes wasps be sneaking in through the vents. I thought I heard one on the window, so I had to get the spray out, but we're good over here.
Yeah.
All right. TCU, as everybody knows, is not coming off of a great year. Only 5 wins, didn't qualify for a bowl, and they sure as hell are not going to have the kind of draft visibility in 2024 like they did in 2023 when 8 guys got picked, including everybody: offensive lineman, wide receiver, Quinn Johnson, the quarterback, the running back, linebacker. Everybody and their brother got picked off that team. But there are still a number of guys who are legit NFL draft prospects. Steven, as a TCU know-it-all, just tell me, who are their best shots to get drafted this weekend?
Well, I think if you were a betting person, you probably want to set the line at 2.5, and I think I would take the over just barely. I think the 3 guys that have the best chance of getting drafted, probably starting off with Brandon Coleman, offensive lineman. I know TCU's offensive line wasn't great, but Coleman's one of those guys. He's versatile. He'll play tackle or guard. You guys know it better than me. Finding quality O-linemen is hard, extremely hard in the NFL. So I think NFL.com has him projected as maybe a 3rd-round pick.
Oh.
So he actually might be the first Horned Frog to be selected. After that, I think Josh Newton, top-notch corner, 2-time All-Big 12 selection, was a preseason All-American. I think he's a day 2, late day 2, early day 3 type of guy. I think there will be questions about how he matches up with some of those quicker receivers and if he's enough of the playmaker when the ball's in the air, but he's physical and covered against the run. Obviously, he has 2 great years of tape. So I think he's been projected as like a 4th or 5th round. And I think the last guy for sure that should get picked is Jared Wiley, just, 6'7", 6'8", had a breakout year, first team All Big 12, over 500 yards, 8 touchdowns, yeah. So he's another guy that I think should be a mid-round, 3rd to 4th round guy. So they won't have any Quentin Johnsons or even a Steve Avila going in those first 2 rounds. But I think a couple Horned Frogs have a good chance of getting their names called in maybe the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round.
You mentioned a guy in a great article that you wrote about the other day, and I'm talking about safety Bud Clark. And TCU fans know Bud Clark is the guy who got the scoring started against Michigan in the Fiesta Bowl with a pick 6, and he's a terrific guy. And he seems like he's a pretty versatile player. Like, you can move him around from corner to safety. Is he looking at maybe undrafted free agent, or could he potentially go in the 7th round?
Well, Bud's back for another season. So Bud,
he's back. I didn't even know that. I didn't know he was. God, shows you how smart I am.
Yeah.
Clarence, what's not like the smile off your face. I didn't know he was coming back for another year. I thought he was coming out. All right, disregard that.
He wanted to come out. That was the plan. I remember I was talking to him at the Quentin Johnson draft party last year. He was another guy that probably thought he'd be, thought TCU was going to have a better season, but he still had 3 picks, but there was a little regression. So if you're looking towards next year, I think Bud and Savion Williams are probably the 2 guys that have the best chances of being somewhat high draft picks in the next year's draft.
What position for Brandon Coleman, tackle or guard?
I think he'll initially start off as a guard, but he'll have that versatility just in case he goes to the right team. Let's say they need a right tackle. He has experience playing that here at TCU. I think he started a couple games this season as well, too. But I think his original position will be guard starting off.
Clarence, you got anything for Steven? Any Big 12 questions, Texas questions, Oklahoma questions, anything like that?
I think all three of the TCU guys visited the Cowboys doing local day or doing some of the pre-draft visits. Tight end Jared Wiley, I've been following him his entire career, going back to Texas before he transferred to TCU. Certainly, he certainly has a great story. Newton is a guy. Did he transfer in from somewhere?
Louisiana, I believe.
Louisiana Monroe. He's from Monroe. Went to Monroe High School. Transfer from Louisiana Monroe.
Right, and I think when I talked to him at the combine coming to TCU was the reason he came to TCU was to get an opportunity to play on a bigger stage and opportunity to get drafted. One thing to note, he got his degree, and there's something that was important to him when he talked about getting his degree. His mom wanted to get his degree, and he got that, and now he's ready to go in the draft. Looking around the Big 12, I mean, it looks like Texas is back as far as the draft is concerned. They could have 6 or 7 guys drafted. What do you see from those guys? Did you see during the season for some of those guys that are going to get drafted high?
Well, my question is, when is Texas going to have an O-lineman drafted? Is that this year, or are we still
next year? No, this year. No, this year the right tackle. Okay. He'll be drafted. No, the right tackle is going to be drafted. No, that's true. No, but they probably will have a first round pick in O-line next year. But then the right tackle will be drafted this year.
Well, with Texas, I think Brooks, even coming off the injury, I think he's probably the top running back, regardless if you think this is a quality running back class or not. I thought he had a great season. So unfortunately, he got hurt. I think he got hurt against TCU, I remember. But obviously, I like him. I'm very curious to see where A.D. Mitchell lands up. Seems like he's going to go in kind of like those late 20s. So we're talking about a guy that could be playing with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. I still think the Ravens need another receiver. So it wouldn't be surprising, especially I've been seeing a lot of stuff about his profile, his athletic profile, his testing numbers, and obviously the breakout season. It would not surprise me at all if he's one of those. Every year there's a receiver that surprises us. I think he'll be playing with the best quarterback out of all those, Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze. So I think he could be a guy to kind of come in and have an instant impact for some of those contending teams next year.
That's fantastic. Go ahead, Clay. Sorry about that.
No, I'm good. I was coughing, but no, that's great. I think Worthy, you got Mitchell and Worthy, both to go in the first round, and both are going to be late first round, so they both have an opportunity to do that. Devondre Sweat, defensive tackle, he had, he's a guy that was all Big 12. I think Big 12 defensive player of the year, but he's dropping in the draft because of his size and his offseason issues. What did you see from him?
Oh, he's a monster. But I thought Murphy. It's not surprising to me that Murphy's been the one moving up. I've even seen people talking about maybe Chicago takes him at 9 if all the top receivers are gone. So, I mean, I think it's fair to wonder how Sweat will fit into the NFL at his size. I don't know if he's dropped weight or not, but you need athletic, slim defensive linemen. So Murphy was always the guy. I thought Sweat was the better college player, but I thought Murphy was kind of more of that prototypical what you want for your defensive tackle. So it's not a surprise to see one kind of rise and the other one kind of fall a little bit.
Okay.
All right, Steven, got any other draft? Who's going to be the number 1 overall pick? How's that one? I'm going to put you guys in. Who's the number 1 overall pick on Thursday?
Well, I mean, Caleb Williams going out on the limb.
Like that. Clarence, are you going Caleb Williams 1?
I think that's already done. The draft starts at number 2, and I really think it may not start at number 3 because I think Jaden Daniels is going to be number 2 going to Washington. Then the fun will start.
I will say I hope the Vikings can find a way to trade up and get Jaden McDaniels, but I don't think they'll be able to get all the way up to 2. But
no, Washington's not trading. And did I say the Redskins? I mean the Commanders. Washington's not trading. They're taking him at 2, even though he would like to go to the Vikings or the Raiders. But they're not blinking. They're taking him at 2, and then the fun will start.
Okay, here's my prediction. Both of them are going to be busts. But that's not a hard prediction with quarterbacks. You can always predict that they're going to be a bust, and you're going to be right 75% of the time. All right, Steven, you got anything else for us?
No, sir. Well, TCU spring game on Saturday. Come out, say hello.
All right.
2
p.m.
I'll be at the draft.
Fine work as always. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, man.
Cowboys, for all of your TCU coverage needs, be sure to check us out. Check out Steven Johnson on StarTelegram.com. Clarence, what are our draft options facing the Cowboys? Let's just focus on the first round. Let's not worry about rounds 2, 3, and all that other stuff. Let's just focus on the team. According to Jerry Jones, that was the 24th best team in the NFL last season. That's why they have the 24th pick. Who are they going to go? Like, what position are they going to go with it?
I mean, I think that the Cowboys are locked into taking offensive linemen. It's just a matter of which offensive lineman is there. and and whether it's a guard or tackle or a center, and they need starters at left tackle and they need a starter at center. And
so can you see a scenario? Because I remember in Mike McCarthy's first draft class, receiver was not a need at all. And then sure enough, CeeDee Lamb from Oklahoma kept dropping and dropping and dropping. And there he's looking at him, even though he wasn't a need position, and they drafted him. Is there any scenario, Clarence, where you could see that they're not, if they have clearly outlined either linebacker, I'm going to throw linebacker in there, linebacker or offensive line, is there any scenario where you see some guy who tumbles down and they pull a CeeDee Lamb and say, we got to take that guy?
Well, I think that there's a defensive tackle, maybe the kid out of Duncanville, the kid from Texas, the defensive tackle drops. Byron Murphy.
Yeah.
He's an option because they're going to take, at some point you have to take the best available athlete. I don't think there's not a linebacker rated high enough for them to think. I think the real question is, would the Cowboys trade back? And I think that they don't have a lot of picks in this draft. They don't have 7 picks in this draft. They don't have a 4th round pick because they traded it for Trey Lance. And so they would like to add picks. And if there's an opportunity, depending on who's available, and what I'm hearing this morning on the draft buzz is that a lot of teams are moving up for offensive linemen. The teams are trying to trade up to get offensive linemen. So that may be, we know there's going to be a run on quarterbacks. I think there's going to be a run on receivers. There may be an early run on offensive linemen. If those guys are gone, what did the Cowboys do at 24? Especially, do they take a center or they move back? You take a center at 24, and you move back and take another center and then add another pick. I think those are the things that the Cowboys are looking at. But just from a numbers, from a name standpoint, clearly, the Amarius Mims Sully, a tackle out of Georgia, Graham Barton, a center out of Duke. I think Jackson Powers Johnson, a center out of Oregon. You got Tyler Guyton, a tackle out of Oklahoma, or names to link to the Cowboys. But if some of those names are gone, or depending on where they have them on the board, they move back. They may move back later in the first round if they can, or to early in the second round to pick up a pick and still get their guy and add picks.
Clarence, do you really want your football team occupied by players from Duke?
Smart. Yeah. You want your center smart, sir.
That's
yeah.
Well,
you want
okay. Best center that this team has had in the last 20 or 30 years went to Wisconsin. I don't think Wisconsin is Harvard.
Zach was a smart guy. He was a smart guy. You want your center smart.
Oh, I'm no doubt about it. There's no doubt. But Travis Frederick.
Travis Frederick. Yeah, he was a smart guy. Yeah, have you talked to him? He thought he was the smartest guy in the room. He was a cerebral.
He thought
center,
he was.
Okay?
All right.
You want your center to be cerebral.
Well, let me go back. Rank them importance. Lineman, offensive lineman.
Lineman, running back.
Hang on. Offensive lineman, linebacker, defensive line.
You gonna leave out running back?
Yeah, because yes.
Well, they have to take a running back.
They're going to. But I mean, that's done. The running back is either a second or third round pick.
Right.
That's already done. But what I'm saying is, if you had to rank those positions in terms of importance of this team right now, what do you do?
It's linebacker. I mean, it's important to this team right now, and what's available in the draft. This is not a deep draft for linebackers. I would think that important for this team right now is certainly offensive line, center, tackle, and defensive line.
They got to get a tackle, because when they draft a defensive tackle high, it all but spells out what we already know, which is Mozzie Smith can't play. Okay, speaking of Mozzie Smith, last topic here on Cowboys Overtime. Clarence, do you have faith in the Cowboys being improved after this draft?
I'm writing a story for tomorrow, and I think the draft can't get here fast enough for the After,
but you didn't answer the question, sir. Do you have faith that they'll be better after the draft?
Can I get them? I'm setting it up, okay? I'm just saying that after an off season, when you lose to the Packers the way you did, you do nothing in free agency. You got a fan base as disillusioned as ever. This is your best chance to improve your team. It's the best chance to change the narrative about your team.
For sure.
To boost that depressing offseason narrative. Will they be better? Yes, because they have no way to go but up.
Right.
Okay, they've done nothing in free agency, so you're adding fresh bodies and hope, more hopium. You're selling hopium, and you're gonna, feel good about the young shiny object that you're gonna unwrap under the Christmas tree. Yes, you should be better. They will be better. Will they be good enough? Will they take enough steps in the draft? I don't think they have enough picks. I don't think they have enough premium picks to be marginally better, but they will be better.
Player I'm excited about the most. This tells you everything about this offseason. The player I am excited the most about for the Cowboys in the fall is DeMarvion Overshawn. Did I say his name right?
DeMarvion Overshawn.
DeMarvion Overshawn. That's the guy that I always butcher his name. That's the guy that I'm excited about. He was a linebacker out of Texas who was having a great camp, tore his ACL, missed the season. He is, to me, their big offseason pickup. And that tells you everything about this offseason. Do I have faith that they're going to get better? Yeah. Can't get any worse, at least as human beings who want to play football. I can't play football right now because I'm on the injured list. Clarence, thank you very much for your time. For all of your draft needs, check out Clarence. Check out everybody else here on the Star Telegram beginning on Thursday night. That's round 1. By the way, the Dallas Stars are in the first round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. The Dallas Mavericks are tied with the LA Clippers 1-1 after 2 games in the first round of their NBA Western Conference quarterfinal series. And I'm sure I'm missing something else. And oh yeah, Caitlin Clark is going to make her WNBA debut against the Dallas Wings in Arlington a week from Friday. Clarence, that's all I got. Hopefully the next time you see me, I'll be out of this bleep and bleep thing. Candy, you're the best. Window Nation, you're the best. See you next week.